Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Enumerate the indirect taxes which have been subsumed in the goods and services in India. So first of all, you have to know about what is enumerate. Okay, these are the terminologies. You have to know the meaning before you are getting into the mains. Next, also comment on the revenue implications of the GST introduction. GST introduced in India since July 2017. So it is a 10 mark question. So it's a 2 pages, 150 words. So this question is saying that enumerate the indirect taxes which have been subsumed. So that is the first part, enumerate. Next, also command on the revenue implication. Command, that is the second part. So simple as that. You have the two subdivision of the questions. First is about the enumerate. So when it comes to the enumerate, it is all about just listing the points with certain analysis. Okay, so giving the points with certain analysis, that is about the enumeration. So the question is simple as that. It is asking that what are the taxes that are subsumed in the GST Act. So you can broadly say that. So GST subsumed what are the central taxes and what are the state taxes. This is the way. Before that, I have to say that what is the introduction for it. That when it comes to GST, it is a broad one. The question is not about the specific thing. Okay, it is simply asking about the enumeration of the subsumed taxes and also asking for a command question only. So in this type of question, the introduction will be more general. That is not a big issue. If it is, if you know certain data about the GST collection, means you can also quote that. Okay, so that is also one way of giving the introduction. So for introduction, you can just say that 101 constitutional amendment led to the creation of the GST. That is also one thing. Or else one nation, one tax. That is also one thing. Or else you can say that huge, or else the drastical economic changes happened of this introduction of the GST. So whatever it is, you can even use the general things also. Okay, so because the question is not more specific one, so in this kind of question you can just say what is GST, that is enough. Okay, so what is GST, or else which constitutional amendment act just gave this GST. So whatever it is, you can say. And the first part is about the enumerate. So which means what are the state taxes that are subsumed, and then what are the central tax that are subsumed. Okay, so just list down the points and give certain analysis. Okay, so that itself enough. So when it comes to the central taxes, it's a central excise, additional excise, service taxes, customs duties, and special addition to the special additional duty of customs. And when it comes to the state level, it is about the state VAT, entertainment tax, octroi, luxury taxes, and taxes on the lottery, betting, and gambling. So this is the thing, is more than enough for the first part of the question, but you have to give certain analysis. Analysis means like when it comes to the taxes on the lottery, betting, and gambling, means actually it is all on the state list. So you can say that there is a huge federalism changes happened in the financial system, or else the financial federalism got affected by this GST introduction, or else the state are facing certain issues due to this introduction of the GST, or else you can say that due to the introduction of the GST there is a huge growth in the GDP or the investments in India. Whatever it is, you can give certain analysis, because when it comes to the enumerate, listing the point is more than enough, but you are going to add certain analysis part means it's well and good. Okay, so that is the major things you have to do to enrich your answer for that only. Next is about command. Command on the revenue implication of the GST, which means you can say it in the positive way or else in the negative way, because it is a command. It's up to you. You can say that due to the introduction of the GST, state faced the huge revenue loss, or else they are losing their major chunk of revenue for running their state budget, that is affected due to this introduction of the GST, or else due to the various tax slabs. Okay, so there is a confusion among the management of this GST system. Whatever it is, you can say in a criticism way also, but it should be in a constructive criticism. That is more important thing. So it is about a command only. So you can say in a positive way or in a negative way, but if it is a negative way means you have to be in a more precise way. You have to say certain things with the reports or data. You can say that GST collection is goes on in decreased, or else in the initial time period the GST collection is very low. At that time the state was affected. So or else you can speak about, the compensations. So what are the issues with that compensation towards the states? So there is a issue with the compensation payment given to the states. There is a huge delay. You can speak about that also. So you can speak about all the negative things, but it should be in a constructive criticism. That is the more important thing. And also it should be more of data. Without the data, you shouldn't try to criticize the government, which means you are speaking from the layman side. Okay, so you have to speak with the data when it comes to the criticism. Next part is, or else you can go with the positive side of the GST. It led to the formalization of the Indian tax system. Okay, Indian economy got formalized due to this GST, or else the investments got increased due to the introduction of the GST. Okay, so there are lot of ways to give the positive side, and also most of the time the GST revenue crossed 1 lakh crore. So that thing also you can speak. So here also you can speak with certain data, but if you don't know your data, that is not an issue, because you are giving a positive things only. But when it comes to the negative things, you are speaking against the government means you should have certain data. That is the more important thing. But I am not going to say that you have to only give the positive things towards the government. You shouldn't criticize the government. I'm not saying like that. Even if you are criticizing the government, you should have a certain data. That is the more important thing when it comes to the mains answer. I gave certain answers. You can note it. The positive side of the GST is the state revenue. First thing is increases in the tax base. The taxpayers, the taxpayer got increased. That is the first major outcome due to this GST introduction. Okay, due to the introduction of the GST, there is a huge growth in the tax base. So earlier, if it is a 100 people is only going to pay a tax means, now it has become as a 200 people. So tax base increased, that led to the growth in the GST collection. Okay, so that is one way of the positive thing. Next, you can also say that the tax buoyancy. Tax buoyancy is about the what is the growth rate in the GDP and what is the growth rate in the tax revenue. It is a comparison. So there is a huge tax buoyancy happened after the introduction of the GST. That is also you can say. Next, formalization of the economy. Yes, absolutely. After the introduction of the GST, the economy become more formalized. And also you have to think that India is a huge in informal sector. India's more major population in the informal sector. They are trying to adapt to this GST. That is also a good thing. You can easily measure the things. Okay, so that is also one of the benefit due to the GST. And also increases in the tax returns filing, that is also happened. And also next major thing is due to this introduction of the GST, investment got increased. Okay, so investment means That is also indirectly means that the transfer of technologies are also the ideas also going to be increased. So investments is indirectly related to the transfer of technologies and the ideas and the skills, that is also got increased. So that is also the benefit. And then the yes, ease of doing business is also speaking about you the starting of the company, registering in the GST portal, and also getting the returns. Okay, if there is a compensation for certain company means that is also received in a more speedy manner. That is also the benefit that led to the growth in the ease of doing business. So these are the positive things. But when it comes to the negatives of GST means, first thing is it is going to give a pinch, or else it is going to affect the state revenue, which means the financial federalism. Fiscal federalism got affected due to this GST. That is also the criticism you can see. Next, shortfall in the collections. Yes, that is the major concern. Even though there is a huge growth, 1 lakh crore collection happened, okay, but it is not in a sustained way. Sometimes it is going to be the more reduced manner also. Okay, that is also happened. So that is why shortfall in the collection, that is also the major concern. And then yes, issue over the destination based tax, which means yes, in the introduction you can say about the GST means you can say that it is a destination based tax. That is also you can say it is in the introduction also. When it comes to the destination based tax means, consider that I am manufacturing a product in Tamil Nadu, okay, and then the people from the Assam going to consume that product. Now there is a tax on that product. That tax is going towards that Assam government only, not to the Tamil Nadu government. So the producer state is not going to get that tax revenue, tax on the products. Okay, so that is also one of the issue for the producer states. Okay, so that is one of the thing. Next, fake invoice generation, that is also the major concern that affecting the state revenue. Okay, so when you are going to criticize the government, there should be certain data, okay, or else that news should be repeatedly in that newspaper. Okay, so these are the things you have to be more focused. Don't go for any blatant criticism against the government without any data. Don't give any criticism against the government. Okay, that is the major part. When it comes to the questions like critically analyze, critically examine means you have to go with a certain criticism also. At that time you have certain data that are against the government. Okay, and also that data should be from the any authorized report only you have to use it. Consider that if there is a huge unemployment means you can use the ILO report. Okay, or else you can use the data of the NSSO report. So that are the authorized data, you can use it. Without any authorization of any, if you are going to use certain other data means it is again it is a blank criticism against the government. That you should not do that. Okay, so you have to be more conscious on that thing. Okay, that is the more important thing. At last, it about the conclusion part. You can say that in a positive manner only, because we are going to follow the GST. We are not going to change the GST. So you can say that there are the 5 slabs. Okay, so to make it easier, we can change it into a 2 slabs or 3 slabs. That is also one way of giving a certain suggestions. So such a way you have to complete the answer when come to these kinds of questions, because hereafter they are not going to change this GST. They are going to follow it. So you can say that certain suggestions to modify certain things, which are the issues that are affecting this GST collection. So that way is the more good way of concluding the answer. Okay, thank you.